This lesson is about estimating percents, and estimating percents can come in handy if you don't need an exact answer when working with percentages. If you're just looking for a ballpark, then this is a good strategy to use. The first thing that I want to talk about is a couple different ways that you can estimate. If we're talking about 60%, for example, we can also think of 60% as 6 times 10%. So you could figure out what 10% of something is and then just multiply that by 6. So I want to go through an example with you. If you were asked what 62% of 500 was, then you could use 60% of 500. And if you think about this, is 6 times 10% of 500. So if we first wanted to figure out what 10% of 500 is, 10% written as a number, we can move the decimal 2 places. We have 0.1 times 500. So 10% of 500 will give us 50. Once we know that, we know that 10% to get to 60 is approximately 6 of these, so 6 times 50 gives us 300. So we know that 62% of 500 is approximately 300. So that, I'm going to split my screen right here because that's one way to estimate 62%. Another way to think about this is to think about our 62% or our 60 as we estimate. Again, we're going to estimate this to 60%. We know that 60% is 60 over 100. When we reduce this, we can get 6 over 10 or 3/5. So now with our fraction, 3/5 of 500, we know that this is 3/5 times 500. Thinking about multiplying fractions here, we can put this over 1. If I cross simplify right here, 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 500 100 times, and then we're left with, again, 300. So there's 2 different ways to estimate with percents. Let me go through another practice problem with you. Sierra and 4 of her friends ordered a pizza that cost $14.72, and they are going to split the cost equally among them. About how much will Sierra pay for the pizza? So right here, I know that Sierra and 4 of her friends, so that is a total of 5 people that we have to split the bill between. So if we think about 100% of the bill divided by the 5 people, we're going to get 20%. So Sierra is going to have to pay 20% of the bill. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the cost of the pizza, $14.72. What I can do here is I'm going to estimate this to my closest dollar, which would be $15. So what I really need to figure out here is what 20% of $15 is. Now I'm going to use this. I know that 20% is 2 times 10%. Okay, if we find 10% of $15, we're taking our 0.1 times 15, that's going to give us $1.50. So 10% of the $15 is $1.50, but we need 20%. So when I double this, I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to multiply that by $1.50. That's going to give me $3. So the answer, Sierra is going to pay approximately $3 for her portion of the pizza. Now, if we want to estimate 122% of 50, we know here 122%, this is approximately 120% here. So we want to find 120% of 50. Now we know that this is 120% is equal to 100% of 50 plus, we're going to say approximately 20% of 50. 100% of 50, if we write 100% as a decimal, this is 1, so this is 1 times 50, plus, now we can write this as 0.2 times 50. So here we have 1 times 50 is 50, plus 0.2 times 50, that's going to give us 10. So when we estimate 122% of 50, we're going to get approximately 60 as our answer. Now for the last problem, what are 2 ways to estimate 22% of 30? What I want you to do is to answer this question in your notes, and we will go over it tomorrow.